The Schnellboot was a fast attack craft from the German Navy during World War II. At 65 meters underwater lies one of these killers, with the torpedo still inside. In today's episode on the DiveSAGA channel. The Maltese capital city of Valletta is a 16th century beauty and the smallest capital city in the European Union. But in one of her rustic streets, an inconspicuous metal door leads to Valletta's secret underbelly. Curator Nathaniel takes us down a maze of narrow passages and scaffolding. Above our heads, old industrial-sized air conditionings pump fresh air 40 meters 130 feet underground. The secrets in these bunkers were instrumental in finally helping the Allied forces win the Second World War. Time for configuring, analyzing and labeling this morning at Dive Systems Malta. We are getting prepared for a 68-meter, 223-foot Trimix dive here off of the coast of Malta in the Mediterranean. So we head for the harbor and get our dive boat ready. In the past few episodes, we've dived the World War I SS Polynesian, a torpedoed ocean liner turned troop transporter. We've inspected the wreck of a Junkers 88 bomber, an aircraft type that attacked Malta so relentlessly it became one of the most bombed places on Earth. And we found real World War II ammunition in the wreckage of the HMS Hellespont. Today we're getting ready for our last dive in this mini-series, as we are going to find the wreck of the Schnellboot S-31, a German World War II fast boat outfitted with torpedoes. The wreck of the S-31 lies at a maximum depth of 68 meters, 223 feet, so it's a Trimix decompression dive, where we use Trimix 1835 bottom gas. That means 18% oxygen and 35% helium. No time to waste. Our equipment is checked and our plans are made, so it's time to find the Schnellboot S-31. Once again, our team consists of Italian dive guide Daniele Bertaggia, German photographer Nadine Bauer, and local Maltese photographer John Borge. Together, we've been teaming up with the Maltese Government Tourism Authority to document these historical wrecks, tell their stories, and generate interest with divers who love underwater history. If you're interested, you can also visit underwatermalta.org, where Underwater Heritage Malta showcases excellent 3D photogrammetry models of these historical wrecks, including the S-31. Since the Schnellboot S-31 lies in open ocean, some current is again expected. We fire up our Seacraft diver propulsion vehicles to stay close to the shot line as we descend. It's a 68-meter, 223-foot drop straight down into the blue, so we have to hope that Captain Mark dropped the shot line directly over the target. There is a bit of a current, so we do need to work a little bit to stay in place and not drift. And sure enough, we are descending right on top of the Schnellboot wreck. In fact, our shot line has landed right at the stern. This enables me to fly over the wreck in one go, to help show you the scale. These fast boats were a lot smaller than some of the behemoths we've dived in previous episodes. Their job was simply to rush in quickly when Allied ships were spotted, lay a minefield to sink them or torpedo them. Ironically, what sank this S-31 is one of its own mines, with the blast impact right by the engine room. You can see the blast site right here, almost dividing the wreck in two, resulting in the sinking of the S-31 and loss of life. The combination of these deadly torpedo boats, submarines and bomber aircraft like the Junkers 88 almost overwhelmed the Allied forces in Malta. But they had a secret weapon up their sleeves. 40 meters under the limestone rock of Valletta, Nathaniel shows us the filter rooms, secret radio stations where Allied forces would parse through the information about airborne Nazi aircraft. They would calculate their speeds, plot their predicted course, and pass this information on to generals and decision makers, all of whom had their offices and living quarters underground. At the height of the Second World War, Malta had become a land-sized aircraft carrier with an underground command center so large that it was eventually used by NATO until the late 1970s. In the absence of computers, intelligence officers, mathematicians, and life-sized maps and tracking tables were the state-of-the-art technology. From here, the Allied forces prepared and executed Operation Husky, using Malta as a springboard to invade Sicily and removing Italy from the Axis powers in the war. The Nazis knew this and targeted Malta heavily. But by the time Operation Husky was executed, the Schnellboot S-31 was already laying right here, on the bottom of the Mediterranean, blown up by one of the very mines it was trying to lay to stop a British mine layer, the HMS Welshman. The wooden elements of the Schnellboot have since completely deteriorated, but the metal structure is still very visible and reminiscent of the S-31's original state. Although this particular fast boat was used for mine laying, she was outfitted with torpedoes. As per treaty terms, the German army and naval forces were greatly limited in their armament capabilities. Terms which, however, did not deter the Kriegsmarine from equipping its Schnellboot with two 21-inch torpedo tubes fitted to the forecastle, which could be easily removed in order to avoid detection. On the S-31 here, we can see that the starboard torpedo tube came loose during sinking. I would be lying if I didn't admit that seeing this is not at least a little bit impressive. On the other side of the Schnellboot, the port side torpedo tube is still in place. Underwater Heritage Malta, who provides the permits for this dive, states it clearly. Respect for the war grave of fallen servicemen is expected, and caution is advised due to the presence of unexploded ordnances. And by unexploded ordnances, they mean this 7.2 meter, 23 foot, 280 kilogram unexploded torpedo, pointing directly at the camera. Diving the Schnellboot S-31 has turned out to be yet another highlight of my diving career. If you're a subscriber of the DiveSAGA channel, then you know that I love dive sites with historical value. And what could possibly be a better dive to end our mini-series about the world wars in Malta than this machine of death and destruction, slowly being swallowed by the sea, unexploded torpedoes and all.
Guys, another amazing dive. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. I want to thank Visit Malta for hosting us, and also to Dive Systems, of course, for getting us in the water. If you like episodes like this, make sure to subscribe to the DiveSAGA channel. I'll see you next time.